Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to call the City of Benton Harbor Commission meeting to order. We begin with a invocation by Commissioner Sharon Henderson of the First Ward, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Shaquille Turner. All rise.
Father, in Jesus' name, we just thank you for the great city of Benton Harbor and the opportunity to represent it, Lord. I just thank you for each and every person in our chambers. And I ask that you be with us on tonight as we make decisions to help move our city forward. In Jesus' name I pray.
Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Present.
Commissioner Fields,
Present.
Commissioner Henderson, Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Present.
Commissioner Kennard,
Present.
Commissioner Warren,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner,
Present.
Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have a quorum.
This brings us to the approval of minutes, regular minutes, February 2, 2026, February 4, 2026, which are special meeting minutes. And I will, Madam Clerk, motion for the approval.
Support.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson and supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to approval of accounts payable listing. Is there a motion for the approval?
Motion for approval.
Motion is made by Commissioner Isom. Is there support? It is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there any discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Yeah, I just have one question. I had a resident call me over the weekend about the water bill, and I just want to know. I had a resident that called me yesterday about a particular water bill. She told me she could call Commissioner Isom first. I don't know if he didn't give her the right answer she wanted, but this particular long-term resident of the city of Benton Harbor in the First Ward called, and she had questions about the water bill. Her conversation was, if we can't do it, why are we allowing others to do it? So just an update for transparency about the water bill. What is the status of that water bill? $11,000 water bill.
Well, I don't think that,
Point of order, Mayor. I can ask the city manager what is going on and what is the process, because I was asked by a resident who has a right, who's a long-term resident, who asked this particular question, so it's a point of order.
are they
I
asking
answer.
about their bill?
No, they're not. They're asking
Then that's all
about-
they can ask about.
No, that's not true. It's
If they want to know what a leak policy is, or if they want to know what a certain policy is
I'd
regarding.
like to ask for a city attorney's recommendation. Thank you.
So my recommendation would be that if somebody has a question on a policy, that they call City Hall. It's probably easier just because the people that work at City Hall are following through with the policies every day. It probably, as much as I hate to suggest that we put something else on City Manager Little's plate, I would suggest that they reach out directly to City Manager Little or the clerk to get an answer.
So point of clarity, it's not about a personal water bill. They're asking about a commissioner. And just for transparency and full disclosure, I think they have a right to ask that question, because they ask me and they ask Commissioner Isom first, what are we doing? And why is this happening? So I'm just asking for clarity and accountability so that people know what's happening.
So,
Again, I'm asking the attorney.
but the attorney is not the chair. You speaking to the chair. I'm going to yield to the city attorney. However, I can weigh in on what's being said.
Thank you.
Again, any resident can ask about any policy, but asking about a commissioner who is a resident and their utility bill no different than, can I call AEP or call Michigan Gas and ask about another person's bill? It's the same privacy and the same policy for this utility. So she can, anybody can call and ask about their own utility. But just because somebody may serve as a commissioner or serve as a employee of the city does not give another person the right to call and ask about that particular person's utility, and their name is not on it. And that's with any kind of business. But I will yield to the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I would agree that people can call and ask about the policy and get that information from the city manager. As far as individual bills go, that there is some privacy between the person whose bill it is and the city, as if they're working out any differences or they're working through the parts of a policy that they need to work through. So I think as a commissioner, you can certainly speak to the city manager privately about that, but I don't know that's something that he would need to answer publicly.
So just for clarity, because I know it has happened, people have looked into and all of this kind of stuff. And so it was a legitimate question, and I think they were asking because of that reason. And I gave them a reason that I thought that it was being taken or whatever. But I think that is a question that not only she has, but other people has, that I think for accountability and clarity should be answered.
We're dealing with approval of accounts payable listing. That's what the item on the agenda is. I want to recognize Commissioner Kennard.
Yes, on Commissioner Henderson's question that was asked, that is asked time and time again, and they said they have called to get answers to the things that they are concerned about, and they don't get a call back. So this is another thing that we have to note. If they have a question, they don't get an answer when they come here, and they are told to call someplace and get an answer, it should be assured that they get an answer. So we, as commissioners, I think that we should see that they get an answer. Thank you.
I just want to bring us back to the agenda, which is a motion was made for the approval of accounts payable listing. There was a second, and that's what we are or should be discussing. Commissioner Fields?
Are we referencing the line items that we approve paying for?
That's what we should be discussing.
Okay, so I would like to know, on those line items, was the lawsuit attorney Bowman, correct? Fees. So have we literally received invoices from the attorneys for the lead?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Okay, I would like those. I still haven't gotten the meeting or a return email or call or anything from City Manager Little. And so I would like to see invoices for other items, but that's the only one I'll ask for right now.
Commissioner Henry has been a great example of sending emails prior to the commission
have.
meeting. And she usually gets answers in writing. So I would just recommend that you put that in writing in an email for the city clerk or assistant city manager or city manager to send you in writing.
Beyond that, I've even asked for a meeting so that it won't be a long chain back and forth. I have yet to get a response for a meeting. I asked for it prior to even the meeting about the 420. I asked after that.
And you say this is regarding the accounts payable?
Among other things that I don't want to disclose in the meeting on purpose, but I need a response and for higher staff to be responding. So through the chair, can he respond? And this is about
So you
accounts
have,
receivable. However, if I've reached out or I've been waiting to discuss it and haven't, that's a problem.
so it's public knowledge. On page 2, you have vendor name Bodman PLC, and there's a list of charges to Bodman to the tune of $33,999.76. Mr. Manager, would you mind speaking to that? And if you have any information, Madam Attorney, if you could speak to it as well.
I believe these are the recent invoices we've received from Boatman since the item was closed. We still had some invoices that were coming in for work that was continuing to be done.
Madam Attorney.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I can represent to the commission that I do get a copy of these bills and I do oversee them and look at them to make sure that there's nothing on there that maybe shouldn't have been on there or that doesn't match with what we know is happening here at City Hall. There is still some overlap where Bodman is involved and they are working in the federal court system. So each of the items listed is a legitimate case, and it reflects the work that they've done on each individual thing. But I would be happy to make sure that you get copies of these.
Mr. Manager, just for the record, I know you mentioned that we have an outstanding balance with Bodman and Associates or Bodman PLC. Do you know that amount offhand?
I don't know the amount exactly right now, but when I was stating that before, it was at $134,000. These invoices have come in, and there may be a few others that have since that time.
So the total amount for Bodman is 100 and what?
With the 134,000 plus this approximate almost 34,000 here, you're talking right in the neighborhood of 178,000.
Any other questions regarding that? And that, again, that's in part due to the fact that the traveler's insurance, they're not paying. So the city general fund is absorbing those costs. Any other questions? Chair recognizes Commissioner Warren.
I just wanted to call out, I don't know if Commissioner Fields is looking for the invoices for the $33,999, but Commissioner Henry did request and they sent those. I don't know if you saw that email. It might be what you're looking for.
I'm ultimately requesting a conversation. So I wanted to have some dialogue that's not appropriate in meetings, and I haven't had it.
Could you note that, Madam Clerk?
But thanks, everyone.
Thank you. If there are no further discussion or debate, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Henry?
No.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard? Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to our update from our County Commissioner, the Honorable Mamie Yarbrough, representing us in Berrien County.
I'm having a time here. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Mohammed.
Good evening.
Honorable Commissioners, residents. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you all so much for naming and putting the name on the building of the Mamie L. Yarbrough Benton Harbor Public Library. I've never seen letters so big. I thought this is just beyond anything I could have thought about or wished for. So I certainly thank you. And we tried to have an opening, tried to do it in 2025. And that day, it was so cold and windy, we decided that we needed to not do this. Some people still came, and I ask you all to listen out. We will probably do this in April, when it'll be a lovely spring day, and just a rededication of the library. And please pray for us, and know that that building was built in 1969, and so there are so many things that need to be done. The new electric wheelchairs and all, like, have about that much space between the wall and getting in it. A number of things we need to work on, and so we will be looking for your support and for your help and knowledge about grants and ways to do that, because we are a fine piece of work, the library with the books. I had a pleasant call today from a young lady named Raylene Lee from Channel 22. She said she was coming to Benton Harbor to interview Mayor Mohammed, and she wondered if she could talk to me too. And I thought it would be good for her just to come across the street to the library. And so I met her there. And she thought the building was just beautiful. So many people have not been in our library, and it's been well taken care of with what we had. We've taken good care of it. And she wanted to know my thoughts about Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson and I were born in the same year. And in Benton Harbor, he came often. Chicago's only an hour and a half away. And many times we would see her. My husband, Mickey Yarbrough, was a county commissioner, was a city commissioner, and eventually a mayor. And so there were times when his office changed. But Jesse Jackson ran for president of the United States of America 2 times. And yes, I voted for him. And I thought, we ain't gonna never have a black president. And we did. Ain't God something? We had a black president that lived in Chicago, Illinois, where Jesse Jackson lived. And so you just need to listen and pay attention and just go see, because there's so many beautiful things that happen in our life. But we would have Jesse Jackson would come, and there would be events at the churches. I remember going to Progressive. I'm sure that we had something at Benton Harbor High School in the auditorium, because that was a big area. Now it's too small. So it was just a wonderful time to have a chance, and it's going to be on the news. The thing that I like to do, and I'm a little late with it, is always to let you all know when this tax sale comes up. And if you look now with all the work that's going on in the city of Benton Harbor, we need to have some of that. We need to do something and figure out a way, because this is a valuable property, 3 bodies of water. Just, it's a good place to be. And they're saving these old buildings where I live. I don't know how long I thought I'd be there, but I think I'm in my 15th year of being on the corner of 5th and Territorial, which is a neighborhood where I grew up, walked to school by it, and now it's being fixed up even more. So you need to look at it. People that own property and that are behind in their taxes, and people say, well, they wanted it anyway. 3 years, they're 3 years behind in their taxes. And that's what the law says. You don't go any further than that. But you have the ability to make arrangements with our treasurer, and she's doing something that we've done before, but not this thoroughly. And what has happened, and I'd like to leave this flyer with the clerk, and she can make copies or whatever. And I'm sure from the treasurer's office, if you'd like, you could get more. But it talks about worried about delinquent property taxes. And when you look at the other side, it has dates from January 6th to March 6th, where she will be in different communities in Berrien County from 2 to 4 o'clock twice, so that you can go to that city hall, come to Benton Harbor City Hall. You live in Coloma, but you work down the street or wherever. You can stop anywhere in Berrien County in their city halls, and the schedule is here. She will be there it's on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, and it's from 2 to 4 p.m. You don't need an appointment. You just go and you have a seat, and whoever is next, she will see you. She has a computer with her. You can make an agreement where you'll pay on something and pay so much a month or whatever. And what she encourages you to do is, even after you get caught up on your taxes, you continue doing that. If you were able to do it, then just keep on doing it, because as long as you're in that house, you're going to have some kind of taxes. But what is happening, people are finding out perhaps their taxes could be lower. Their age has changed or something, and you just need to know, be up to date on it. So I'd like to leave this with the clerk, and she could contact the county treasurer, and she'd probably send you these. And then there's one that's a little larger, and again, on the back of it are the dates and times that she's in Niles, or that she's in Coloma, or she's in Benton Harbor, Benton Charter Township. And so all of them, they may have been there, she may have been once, but there's a second time that she's coming there. So know that on March 31st, your time is up for making agreements. So if she's set these appointments, you can call, you may be able to get her, she's in the office in and out, but these other days, you'll know that she's definitely at a city hall, and she will be happy to talk to you about anything, because she'll have the computer and be able to explain things to you and what you can do. And she's very fair, and she's enjoying doing it and being able to help people, because people need to be in their homes. That is my report for today, and I thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is citizens' comments or public participation. There is a 3-minute maximum per speaker. Please sign in with the clerk, and she will call you based on the sign-in sheet.
Marvin Haywood.
First of all, I would like to thank those who were newly elected to move this city forward. I know there's been a lot of things that have taken place. You know, I come from Little Italy, too. I was born and raised in Little Italy. And on Miller Street, I come from Little Italy. And I remember when everything downtown was black-owned. The only thing downtown now, when I was a child, was Mamina's Bar, and it's called the Chatterbox. So over these years, there were things that were strategically done to take over this community based on this waterfront property. You know, and as I say, the greatest thing we can do, we have to read and have an understanding of what is and not what seems to be. Because if we buy into that illusion of inclusion, then we will be disenfranchised. For years, they've had master plans, but it hasn't included the inner city. It's always been about downtown. I remember when all of that area over there in St. Joe, that was money that was appropriated off of the statistics of Benton Harbor, that Edgewater product. This is years ago. And so a lot of people don't remember the history. But if you look at it, everything that has came through went up. The Chamber of Commerce, they moved that out of here. That's where the money flowed for the city of Benton Harbor. So everything that was done over the years was done strategically. And the money went to other entities off of these statistics. And so as we move forward, we have to remember one thing. If you ask a person something, they give you a lot of content, it's a con. I've been living a long time, and I know. And so I say that because as you all move forward, you have to know where the money's going. How is it that any municipality, you got to have a finance director and community development to move your city forward? Without those two things, you can't move a city forward. How is it that you want to outsource those very institutions? And like the attorney said, we don't want to it's a lot that's on the city manager. And when you wearing a lot of hats, you can't get nothing accomplished because you're wearing too many hats, and I applaud you for saying that, because it's facts. And so we have to just be careful as we move forward. We have to read. We have to have an understanding of what we're voting on, because a lot of times we can vote on stuff, and at the end of the day, you don't even know what we voted on. I remember when Harbor Shores came through with a draft, and everybody agreed to it. And at the end of the day, when it came back, they owned everything, and everything in the final paperwork, it reverted to them. How could you have a lease for 99 years and ain't paying water bills and stuff like that? Come on, make it make sense. So that's not in the best interest of the community. And as I say, as you all move forward, be very careful, because if you're not careful, the first thing they ask you is what you need. And hopefully we don't need anything other than to stand on the truth and what is and not what seems to be. Thank you.
Barbara Sistrunk.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening to the Honorable Mayor, our Mayor Pro Tem, and our esteemed city commissioners. I want to read to make sure I don't forget anything. My name is Barbara Sistrunk, and I'm here to share a brief invitation and an opportunity for our community. In partnership with Emerge Innovation Hub, the Southwest Michigan CRA Association, and with the generous support of our premier sponsor, Flagstar Bank, we're proud to host the 7th annual Show Me the Money Day on Saturday, March 7th, 2026 at the FEDIC Youth Campus of the Boys and Girls Club in Benton Harbor. This is a free financial education and empowerment event open to the entire community. Show Me the Money Day is the largest financial empowerment event of its kind in Southwest Michigan. It brings together banks, credit unions, housing professionals, attorneys, city governments, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, and community resource partners all under one roof for one day. In a single afternoon, our residents can access trusted financial guidance that would normally require multiple appointments across multiple institutions. This event will help remove barriers, simplify access, and meet people where they are. Throughout the day, attendees can participate in workshops such as credit repair, home ownership and understanding the path to buying a home, beginner investing, wills and trusts, identity theft, fraud protection, and entrepreneurship. I'm especially proud that this year our programming will support residents at every stage of their financial journey. For those who are just getting started, we offer foundational workshops like credit repair. But we also recognize that many residents are ready for the next level, and that's why we are intentionally including workshops like Investing 101 and Wills and Trusts. Those sessions speak to residents who are building assets, thinking about generational wealth, and protecting what they've worked hard to earn and planning for their families' futures. Financial empowerment is not only about money or getting out of debt. It's about stability, building wealth, and preserving it. When families understand estate planning, wealth stays within families. When residents learn how to invest and young people learn how to invest early, their money begins working for them. It's about aspiring entrepreneurs who can build businesses that will one day create jobs. When people understand how money works, it reduces financial stress, it increases home ownership, it strengthens our local businesses and builds generational wealth. May I continue? I have
much
about
time do you
30
have?
seconds left.
Please.
Thank you. That directly impacts housing stability, economic development, and overall community well-being, all priorities that align with the City of Benton Harbor's vision for growth. As I said before, this event is about meeting people where they are and introducing them to the tools that move them forward. Our goal this year is to reach over 100 community members and continue expanding access to trusted financial information in a welcoming environment. I respectfully ask this commission to help us spread the word through your networks, through your community contacts, and any city communication channels available. Again, this is a free event, and we want every resident who could benefit to know about it. Thank you very much for your time, your continued commitment to the city of Benton Harbor, and supporting initiatives that empower our residents. I do have flyers and that I would like to leave with the commission, as well as flyers to leave with any residents that may stop by City Hall. Thank you very much.
You can give them to the city clerk. Thank you.
No more comments.
Thank you. This brings us to the consent calendar. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar, or are there items that should be separated? Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Separate number one.
Thank you. Any other?
Same.
Duly noted. Is there a motion to approve the consent? Motion is made by Commissioner Isom. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Mayor Pro Tem Turner. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henry? Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard? Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Mayor Pro Tem Turner?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the first separated item, a resolution to amend the Benton Harbor zoning ordinance and map. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion is made by Commissioner Isom. Is there a second?
I second.
It is seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Turner. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Okay. I just want to say, I know the planning commission had a meeting February the 3rd. Now, I'm just knowing about a public hearing. It said it was a public hearing too, but to my understanding, there was no public comments made. So, I don't know how that worked out, but I wasn't even aware. Okay. What I wanted to ask, number one, was for the city manager through the chair. Can you explain to everyone what the parking requirement in table 42.3A for restaurant has been revised to 1 per 200 feet of usable floor area? That's one of the amendments that's being asked to. After justification, it says the following amendments were made to be by the 2025 version of the zoning, and then established. So it's the second thing. On the memo. Saying memo, then our planning commission February 3rd, resolution to amend. It's right after the AP. It's the first thing. So it's the first thing on the agenda. So consent too.
Do you have any other? Is that?
Is that what? Because I wanna answer to what that is,
Okay.
but I have more. But
Okay.
that's my first one.
Okay, Mr. Manager.
Well, as I recall, there was a lot of discussion around the requirements, and ultimately, the planning, the committee that was working on the revision agreed to this revision, and that's why it's there.
That's not what I asked. I asked, what does it entail? I want to know, and I want the resident. Can you explain what that is?
It entails exactly what it says. For every 200 square feet of space, one parking space is required.
Okay, my next thing is for the city manager through the chair. It's a multi-unit residential. Can you explain what that is? This on the map.
Yes, residential is where you might have apartment buildings of numerous apartments in it.
Okay, thank you. So, multi-unit residential is mostly apartment buildings. So, on the map, I'm looking at, say, Morton, Stevens, Riverside, Winans, and Madison is listed color-coded as multi-unit residential. Now, I know the 4th Ward like the back of my hand. I've been in it most of my life for over 40-something years. I've been in my house 30 years, which is, of course, 4th Ward. That's why I'm a commissioner. I couldn't be one if I didn't stay in the 4th Ward. And I'm wondering why multi-unit residential, why these streets are listed as, when most of them are single-family homes. For one thing, one of these streets is my street. So I definitely know. My street only has 3 blocks, 3 short blocks at that. Most of the residents are homeowners. And they've been in their home for over, like some of them over 50 years. So why would that be? And we only have one multi-unit residential there, one apartment complex on that whole street. So why would this be color-coded as a multi-unit residential?
Because that was the decision of the Planning Commission that worked on this with the consultant for almost a year. Those meetings were public. You could have come to the meetings, as could anyone else. And zoning is about the future, not about what is right now. It's what's going to be planned for and permitted in the future. This was the determination that was made.
Okay, thank you. So for now, when I ask a question, can I get a short, simplified answer and not all the extra derogatory stuff? Please, I know what zoning is. I know what all the other stuff is. And if we talking about the future, we still talking about these areas is mostly single family. So in the future, are you guys planning on knocking us out, pushing me and my residents out? Because we are all single family. So how in the future, we've been in it all these years, is it gonna be a multi-unit? Because I can tell you now, since I was called, me and five of us was called an activist, you're gonna see some activism going on. Because it's not gonna happen. If you anybody think that they can come and push me and my residents out, our hard work, I was 26 years old, single mom of 2 kids when I bought that house. And if you think that me and any of my residents gonna stand and be pushed out and you take over our area, that is not gonna happen. I will have so many people rallying and I will have Bill and Crump here real quick. So I will not be supporting this. I will not say yes to me and my residents being pushed out. That is it. Like I said, and I'm going to say it again tonight, the master plan is Project 2025. Thank you.
I do want to, is there a possibility that we can put the map on the projector? I mean, because in the future, and I think I said this before, it's so important that we can, because this, I'm looking at this right here. Who voted for the map? And can we please, we already had public comment. And I don't wear glasses, but I'm trying to see.
The clerk is trying to answer.
Yes, ma'am.
If I could just provide some clarification to Commissioner Clark Griffin. The permitted use table for the residential multi-unit does include single unit, 2-unit, 3-unit, 5-unit. It includes apartments, bungalows, carriage houses, duplex. So it's basically for anything 1 to 5. So it's not just for multi-unit. Also, on the question about the parking, this was changed. The previous zoning ordinance listed for a restaurant 1 space per 3 seats at any table, counter, or bar, and 1 space per 500 square foot of floor area in any carryout. So this basically just makes it easier on the restaurants parking. So it kind of makes it less strict for them when it comes to our zoning.
I just have a question. Do we have, because typically when we amend an ordinance or something of this nature, it has what the original language is, and then it has what the proposed new ordinance or zoning would be. Do we have that?
So that was sent out with the notice of the public hearing that went to the commissioners, the planning commissioners, and the public. There was a red line version in that.
It's not in our packet.
No, you have the draft of what needs to be approved.
Oh, I just wanted,
Chair recognizes Commissioner Clark Griffin.
yeah, because just to the city clerk respond, multi-unit just doesn't mean multi-unit, but what I'm stating is what's listed on this map as multi-unit are residential streets. It's not like I said, my street only got 1 multi-unit. So why is it listed as multi-unit? Multi-unit is less private, which means it's not private owners. Also, it's like an investment environment.
So I would just, and this is not in any way, I know one of the problems that I had against the last master plan that was passed during emergency management, everything was single family, which limited our development potential in the inner city for multi-purpose, mixed use, to diversify the housing in the neighborhoods. So for instance, we could have never had Project T had we not approved it, because the previous master plan only was single-family homes. So I think that it just brings and gives more options for developers or even people who live in Benton Harbor and want to invest and provide apartment space for people who aren't prepared to buy a home, but maybe can't live in the Imogene Hall flats or live in the city lofts or live, we look at Morton Hill now, which is going the way of Bard, going the way of Martindale, but it's a trend around the country where vacant school buildings are being turned into housing communities. We saw the same thing with Stern Bronson, where now it's providing housing for residents who maybe they can't buy a home. So I certainly am not for pushing anybody out, and I agree with the Fourth Ward Commissioner. I don't want to see that. I'm not for that, but I don't think that, this particular change facilitates that. So we do have our Planning Commission chairman here. I will have to get some approval to allow for that to happen. Is there any objections?
No objection here.
I object.
Mr. Reed, you can't go back and forth with the council. Do we need to take a vote?
Yes.
Is there motion to allow for the chairman of the planning commission to speak?
Support.
Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson, supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard?
I'm not clearly understanding. What
This,
are we?
this is to allow Chairman of the Planning Commission to speak.
Oh, yes.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
No.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry? Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Turner? Yes. Mayor Mohammed?
Yes, and just for clarity, what this does is gives the city council an opportunity to ask a question or questions to the chairman of the planning commission, which is where these recommendations were forwarded from. Mr. Reed, please speak into the microphone, sir.
Yes, it's a mess. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Lee Reed. I am the chairman of Benton Harbor's Planning Commission. I have worked in this chamber with some of you for as many as 20 years. For those of you who don't know, I am a licensed real estate broker, professional if you want to call it that, for 21 years. I know and understanding how you could buy a property if you could afford the down payment and acquire title to it. And if it's a multi-unit property, you can allow your tenants to buy the property for you. Multi-unit investing is not new. This has been around for the longest. Many times we'll have people who live in the community who want to leave, and they are being offered big bucks for their properties. This is not what we were doing it for. We want to have as many opportunities as possible for the people who live in the community to have an opportunity to build generational wealth. And one of the ways they do that is investing in multi-unit apartment buildings. Now, I'm not going to go back and forth with you about 2025, 2030, which 2040 will scare you to death. But I ain't going to get into that. That's not why I'm here. The purpose tonight of my coming, asking for your approval, was to correct the website. We have about 5, maybe 6 applications for businesses in the city at this time. And one of the things I wanted to make sure, and I listened to you all very carefully, you want clarity, you want to have honesty, you want to know what's going on. I want to make sure that the information on our website is up to date and correct. So I came here tonight thinking that we were going to update the website. The zoning ordinance, forgive me, I'm about to lose my voice again. The website must be accurate. Real estate agents from all around are coming to Benton Harbor. Benton Harbor has some of the lowest priced property in the area. We were at a meeting about a month ago, and they discussed that, and they were telling us that we're being surrounded by people who can walk in town and buy just about anybody's property and pay cash for it. Not many of our citizens can do that. Now, I'm going to make a statement. You cannot control property you don't own. If you don't move, nobody can move you out. How do we keep the people in our community here? We talk about trade area. We've done all types of researches. Benton Harbor has enough human assets to be self-sufficient. We don't need outside help. We need entrepreneurs doing incremental development. We call it assets-based community development. It's not new. It started in Chicago back in the 90s. I lived in Chicago for 50 years. I saw the rise and fall of the South Side. I saw how all of these things came together. But as soon as a innovative mayor came in and started making sure that the banks would loan money to us, all of that began to change. I came to Benton Harbor about 30 years ago. I saw the rise and fall of Benton Harbor, so to speak. And it amazed me why you all, with all the personal assets, you can go into Benton Harbor and find somebody that can do almost anything. How come we're not taking care of ourselves? We can keep these dollars in our community. Here's what I propose. Let's all sit down at the same table and talk about what works, what doesn't work, and what do we agree on, and how do we go about moving forward with it. This divisiveness is exactly what they want us to do. Divide up, fighting amongst ourselves. What's the point?
Mr. Reed, I do appreciate your
Sorry, but
generational wisdom, but I do
together.
want to stick to the zoning ordinance map and what's being proposed to be
Okay.
changed.
Parking. Shared parking. A lot of the restaurants close around 3. That means no cars on the streets. So why should you have to have all of this parking space if there's nobody down there? So we said, allow the people who have businesses where the customers come and go with takeout, they could share the parking spaces, and we could give them credit for that as part of their request for the business setups. Now, when you go to the code, and I'm going to give all of you all a copy of this, I would like to ask you a simple question. How many of you have actually read the zoning ordinance? If you've actually read it and understood it, you would see it's nothing but how you apply the I want to call it the best Benton Harbor plan. Some of you want to call it Massa's plan. Okay, we'll call it Massa's plan then. This was put together by the people of Benton Harbor. This was not my plan. I did not do this. We spent almost $300,000 for somebody to come in here to tell us what we already knew. I spoke against it 2 years earlier when you could have had it done for $85,000. But somebody didn't think that that was enough. I will, and have asked you many times, I will come to wherever you want and I'll sit down and walk you through this to explain to you how it works. Gentrification is many faces. And one of the faces you're confronted with now you need to take a good look at is increases in property tax. Raise the rent $100 and you darn near clear out Benton Harbor. And this is being done intentionally. Stop this arguing and fussing and fighting with each other and sit down and talk about solutions. I'm a taxpayer in this city. I'm not coming to you tonight as the chairman of anything. I'm coming to you as a taxpayer. Look for the systems. The systems is what keeps everything in play.
Mr. Reed, all due respect.
I do all night if you want me to explain.
Right, but I'm saying we voted to have you explain, or if there are questions regarding this particular item on the agenda.
Okay,
So that's what, legally we have to address. Are there any questions from the council regarding, I want to recognize Commissioner Warren.
So I'm not a zoning expert, but I do have a question on the multi-unit residential. So Tiffany, our clerk, mentioned that it means 1 to 5 units. Is there an easy way that you could just put that in parentheses on here? Because then if you don't know the zoning laws and you're not, you don't know everything, you've held up that piece of paper, you could clearly just see it on here at a glance.
This is what we were here tonight to basically discuss, and we did a presentation at the Planning Commission meeting. We put it on the screen, and we showed what we call hyperlinks. You can read one thing, and it explains it on the how-to map. And if you look at the second page of the use table, you will see the numbers where you can get additional information. We changed it, so all you have to do is simply click on it, and it will automatically take you to that page. You can get the additional information that you need. But to make any changes to any of these documents requires city approval. Commission has to approve. I cannot change anything. Only you all can do that. I only make recommendations to you. We do the legwork for the commission. We'll do the zoning studies. We'll do public hearings. We'll sit down and talk to the people and find out what they want. Then we vote for it or against it. We then present it to you. Then you all approve it. You all are the last stop. You make all the changes. There's nothing we can do without you. The only thing we do is basically make recommendations. Now, clearing up the website, just keep it up to date. And when it's done, you can go to the website and get most any information you need. And it also includes who to talk to.
So, Mr. Reed, these changes are consistent with the new master plan that was approved on July 7, 2025. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So this brings our zoning ordinance up to date and in compliance with what was passed on the 7th of 2025.
That is correct.
Can you speak to why those particular locations were added?
We didn't add them. I was driving down the street and I noticed that for Long Fair, there's a lot of stores, a lot of businesses across from the bus projects. You got those type of stores. And I noticed that a lot of the businesses that previously had been on Fair, some of them had closed. But as we went down a little further, I noticed that in the commercial part of the zoning, there were houses, residentials. And I looked at the map and that's not what the map was showing. So these are the type of things that we look for that you're only going to find if you use the information that's provided for you. The maps and the process, and that was what the other handout that you have where it says startup checklist for all new businesses. This tells you what you need to do if you want to start a business. This will give you the fast track to starting a business. And that will answer the questions that's not listed here. It makes it easier. Entrepreneurs is going to be the revival of Benton Harbor. People who don't have money, but they have skills, they have talents. And these are the things we all want to come together and do.
So where it says the zoning map was updated to reflect correct color coding of properties, can you speak to that?
Yes. As it has been mentioned, the color codes is a graphic way of simply looking at a piece of paper to determine what's permitted and what's not.
And that would be updated on the website.
Yes. Now, if you get any decent realtor, we get updates every single day on what is for sale, what's under contract, and what's bought or sold. Now you imagine getting an update every day for 20 years. We also get updates once a month to show us what's going on. Ask me, I'll tell you what's for sale, what's not for sale, what parts of the city would be the best places to invest in, all of that. But we can't do it if we always argue with one another. People sitting back here just can't wait for us to get out the way.
So, Mr. Reed, if you can just speak to corrected references in the land use table. Can you speak to that?
This is a simple way. I'm just going to be honest about this. Y'all need to read the zoning ordinance. Forgive me. Each one of you is an influencer. The people who voted for you.
Mr. Reed, if you can
People who are
just
looking for-
answer the question, please.
Thank you.
Corrected references in the land use table.
Here's the table, it's a graph. Over here, these reference numbers don't connect to the correct hyperlink. So our consultant corrected that. So it does work now. So if you check on this hyperlink, it'll take you down through the document to the correct page, which will give you more definitions. So technically, you could probably determine whether or not you could start a business simply by going to the city's website. But if not, we'd be very happy. City staff, zoning administrator, the building official will sit down with you and walk you through the process and help you set up applications for any business you want to start.
Madam Clerk.
Chairman Reed answered that correctly.
Thank you.
I want to recognize Commissioner Kennard.
What, Commissioner Griffin, the question that she asked about her particular area, I'm not understanding why she didn't get a clear understanding. If something is not broke, why fix it? Because for one thing, she's saying that for years, this has been, it has worked in her area. So why would there be a change just to fit in businesses when there's so much other areas? There's business, places for
The
business.
term is tax per acre. We have done studies, maps, and determined that density will increase the amount of income. Apartment building downtown, let's take the apartment buildings downtown. Emma Hull Flats is an example of it. You have what, 20, 30 units in one little space? Look at how much income tax that generates. How many residents did you move out? None. This is what had been there previously. So they went back to that when they were recommending in the master's plan that this is another way that we can increase density without displacing any citizens. Just make apartment buildings in places where it's acceptable. And if you go downtown, look at all the vacant spaces all over downtown. You could probably put 1,000 people down there and you would not move a single person in the residential areas. And if they don't sell their houses, you can't buy them. It's when people buy the properties that the people are selling.
So, I mean, I can see, for example, again, Project T, where it was Mercy Hospital, then it was Intercare, now it's housing.
Yep.
The Imogene Hull Flats used to be Volkswagen and Honda 30 plus years ago. So communities change. And times change. I mean, I know people who came to me prior to the new master, this current plan, who had properties that were apartment buildings, and they wanted to do work, and they found out they got to get a special use permit because of the ordinance saying single family.
Right.
You know, when it's just single family, then you also have issues with putting business in the community. So I think that two things can be true at the same time. And I think that, this, and I'm glad you're here to answer questions, Commissioner Reed. But I think that, Morton Hill, again, is another property that's just sitting, waiting to be knocked down, or an opportunity still owned by the school. And there's many properties go all up and down Riverview Drive where it's just vacancies, and part of the master plan is that we retain residents, but we add 10,000 by 2040. Because the reality is this: if we don't get more water customers, which we lost all of the township, all of the residential, all of the commercial customers, if we don't get more water customers, more development, more residents, more multi-family, more single family, more businesses, we're not going to be able to maintain this municipality.
One last thing before I leave. We are the jailers to our own people. We tell them that they cannot succeed. We tell them they can't afford this or that. And guess what? Some of the people actually believe what you're telling them.
Well, can't say that nobody here is saying that, but I want to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Turner and then Commissioner Henderson.
Will this map be on the city website? Because that's not clear.
No, and that was only done just to show you what the spot was that we wanted to correct.
Okay, thank you.
And the other thing about the website, it's a PDF. When you print out with the PDF, you're going to get pretty accurate colors, but your printer or equipment might not show the colors accurately. So you could always call the zoning administrator, and he'll assist you if you're not sure of what the correct zone is.
Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Thank you, Chairman. Oh my gosh, I'm having a moment. Reed, for all of the hard work, and I've loved having conversations with you just about the city of Benton Harbor and the growth, and just your experience from being here and seeing and really loving the community as a First Ward resident, and seeing the property that you actually redid, that you currently live in, to increase the value to stay in the city of Benton Harbor. So I really appreciate your work and your wisdom around this. But as you stated, if we don't increase our density, we will continue to lose people because there isn't enough housing
Self-gentrify.
in the city of Benton
Because they keep raising
Harbor.
property taxes.
Yeah, and if we don't increase the density in housing, we will continue to lose people because we don't have enough housing to house people. I've received several calls, people asking me if I know about any housings, that kind of thing, because I do own another property in a different community, but we're having a housing issue specifically in Benton Harbor. I was in Atlanta, and just driving around, every time you turn around, they're building housing.
Yes.
They have both. They are increasing the density in housing so people can choose any place to live. They have the high-end, middle, and some other areas. And I think if we're smart, and I think we are, I think we'll continue to invite people to live in Benton Harbor, increase the density without displacing people. That as the mayor said, two things can be true at once, but we don't have to do that. We need to be smart about continuing to increase apartments and increase growth in our city, and I think we're on the right track to do so.
And do it in areas where you have commercial opportunities. They're your own customers. They lived down the street. Zoning simply tells you what's allowed or permitted. You don't want a liquor store next to your church. You don't want, weird businesses next to the schoolhouse. That's what zoning is all
Right,
about.
and there are laws that prevent that. I do want to recognize the city manager and then Commissioner at Large Fields.
Yes, I simply wanted to say that this makes us more competitive with other communities around. In addition to the website, there'll also be a link that any person at home on a computer or a laptop, anywhere in the country that has access to the internet can click on that link. The map will come up. They can enter an address. It'll take you right to that location. And then from there, it will go over and connect to where the explanation is for what's permitted and what's not permitted and so forth. And as Chairman Reed said, it's about simply letting you know what is permissible in an area so that if you're a developer, you're a private individual, if you want to put a duplex in or a quad, you don't waste your time wandering around in the single-family area. You can go to that link, that interactive map, and tell exactly what area it will be permitted in. And so then that's where you look. This helps to create interest on the parts of individuals, developers, and so forth in your community when you can do this. And because it's linked to the master plan, one important thing for property owners is having some idea what may come up next to you. And if you can tell what's permitted zoning-wise, then that helps in your decision-making process.
And the city can change the zoning anytime they get ready. There's nothing that got you locked down to any of these things.
Correct, because any development has to come by planning commission, but ultimately the city council has the final say. But I want to recognize Commissioner Fields.
One of the questions that I had, and I'm sorry, I'm distracted because through the mayor to the city manager, I asked for answers to things, and he has nothing to say. Then he has details when he wants to. I'm bothered. I really want to just note that. Like, I have directed questions to him, and he said nothing. Then he offers information when he's not even asked necessarily. But the question that I had was this reference in regards to Fair and Shokes area where it was light industrial. And while other discussion was going on, I actually just wanted to clarify with the clerk, and that is no longer in play, correct?
When you say no longer in play, Madam Clerk?
May I refer that to the chairman of the Planning Commission to answer that properly, please?
What was the question?
The portion of the map that is the Schultz area that is light industrial. She's asking about that portion.
Schultz and Fair?
Okay, what about it?
Is
Right
this,
now, it's zone commercial, but it's residential. So we want it to be accurate. The map should show that it's actually residential.
okay, and that was going to only be my question, and I just wanted to bring it up because I raised for separation of this, and I also just wanted to have the discussion because I took part in the master plan is where I actually met
That's good enough.
Chairman Reed.
Chairman Reed, along with other individuals, and I don't particularly remember this part of it. I even hosted, along with other residents, talks to try to get the exposure to get residents to be involved, so I understand the importance of it. And so that was my only question. And again, I do know and appreciate that if we wanted to change something, we can vote and make that happen.
And I do appreciate that, Commissioner Fields, because I did not know why it was circled. So I do think that, I mean, now I've learned, and because I know that fair is going to be a two-way.
Yes.
So, but I also know that at one time, referencing what the public comment, you had black businesses on fair. In fact, there was a hotel that my grandfather used to live in on fair. Now that piece of property is vacant, along with another piece of property right across the street from Bus. So it's a lot of potential there, but like you say on our website, it doesn't notate that it's residential. Also, it just says commercial.
If you take a look at the business table, not the business table, the handout that's with the map, it says the startup checklist for all new businesses. It tells you what forms are required. When you go to the website and you see all of these forms, do you realize you'll get almost confused trying to figure out what form to do whatever you want with. We now are requiring pre-conference to go through the forms with you. The staff does that now. We have a zoning administrator who makes a recommendation to the planning commission as to what we need to know about the zoning. And we have a building official who helps us with that. Now, if you know that, you can just about determine what businesses that you can start up, and the city will help you get all of the necessary applications in place. Then we will meet with you to discuss whether or not we think you have enough to get an approval from the planning commission. We then will set up a public hearing if it requires changes or what have you. Then we come back and make that recommendations to the full city commission. The decision is always yours. That's it. We do the legwork for you. We're in the background, checking, making sure that we're following Master's plan.
And I do want to just say point of order. Could you, I know that's been said, but this is being watched on YouTube, which is going to the world. So we want to just be correct. It is the master plan, and it actually received the Burnham, Michigan Planners Award, where you have over 666 municipalities, 83 counties, Ben Harbor's master plan, which I can remember Commissioner Fields being at different events and others, I'm talking about grassroots people participating in it. And it was awarded the Burnham Award, which is one of the greatest planners in the history of this country. I want to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. During the Public Safety Committee, we discussed about liability insurance. Through the chair, through the city manager, can this be brought up as well? So during the Public Safety Committee, we discussed about the liability insurance. Remember that discussion we had? Could this framework that I had discussed about how do people get permits and so forth, could that be discussed during the next committee meeting so that we have a clarification?
It could.
Thank you.
That's the other thing you can put on the agenda and have the planning commission go out and look into it for you. We're at your disposal.
So if there are no other questions or comments for the chairman, we have made great use of your time tonight, and I do thank you. If there are no other questions, then I call for the question.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard? No. Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
No.
Commissioner Fields?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson? Yes. Commissioner Henry?
I gave my vote in as planning commissioner. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. This brings us to staff communication or reports. I want to recognize a hard-working public safety deputy director, Director Clark.
Thank you, Your Honor. No report this evening.
I want to recognize our city attorney, Attorney Seneca.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. There's no report tonight.
I want to recognize our assistant city manager and city clerk, Moore.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up with County Commissioner Yarbrough's update and let everybody know that the Berrien County Treasurer will be here in City Hall next Tuesday, the 24th, from 2 to 4 p.m. for all residents to come in and speak with her. And I'd also like to ask the commissioners to stick around for a bit afterwards. We do have a photographer that's going to take a new commission meeting and any headshots for us. Sorry, commission picture, not commission meeting.
Will the photo be of us all at our stations?
Yes, that's what we would like, is a new full commission photo.
And that will be on the website,
Correct.
along with the headshots.
Correct.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the city manager, Manager Little.
No additional comments this evening, sir.
I want to recognize our 4th Ward Commissioner, Clark Griffin.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and everybody that's watching. And let me just clear up, because for some reason, everything I say or everything I vote on gets distorted and changed around. My question was, why was those 5 streets, one was included, mine, listed as the multi-unit residential when they are not? They're residential. That was my question. It did not get answered, but it did get distorted as usual. So I just want to clear up what the question was and why I was concerned. I've been in my home 30 years. Some of my residents, or most of them are seniors, mostly, especially on my street, been in their home 50-something years. One of the husband built his house, the house for his wife, 50-something years ago. Personally built. So we're talking about sentimental, personal value, generational wealth and all that. So I just want to clear up what was my question and what was I voting on. Why was my street, including the other streets, listed? Because if this map is updating and amending, then it's not a multi-unit. My street and the other 4 listed. So why is it stating that? Why is it being updated and amended on the map as? That was what my question was, and why. And also, our next thing going on in the 4th Ward is the cleanup spring, which is March 21st. We're also working on the Juneteenth. We have the application ready for vendors, parade participation, and volunteers. And we also have our Facebook page, Ben Harbor Juneteenth Cultural Alliance Committee. So you can find information and applications on those pages or on our website. So I have more update, but we are in the planning, and it is going to be June the 13th. From 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair recognizes 3rd Ward Commissioner Henry.
Citizens for coming out and all that's on YouTube that are listening to your government in action. I want to speak on the master plan just a little bit. It is a much better plan than what we had 20 years ago. We spoke of gentrification quite a bit and how we would eradicate that and make sure it didn't happen. And I feel confident that a lot of things that were put in place, we will eradicate some gentrification. The website is very friendly. And you should be able to go on there and do any kind of research that you need. And our staff is definitely open up for information to share with you. So I want to thank the citizens for everything that they've done in the last term, the election. It is a new day in Benton Harbor, and we still need your support, residents. We need you to step up and give us your input on what your city and where we spend your money. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Kennard.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to say thanks to each and every last one of you all that came out tonight. And thank you, Commissioner Yarborough. He did a beautiful job of explaining things to us. So we thank you. And I want to say that so many times it's said that Benton Harbor can't grow because we're always fighting and arguing with each other. Now you look at the United States of America, the federal government. What are they doing each and every day? Getting a clarity of answers. They fight and they argue too. If they disagree, they say. If you go along with just any and everything and you don't ask questions and look for clarity, you're not going to see growth either. So we have to realize that we must ask questions. If we're not clear on it, we are privileged to have our opinion about it. So that's one of the things that is great, that we can have an opinion, but still and yet, my love is still the same for each and every last one. But I have my opinion, and we're here. We voted in to be a voice for our community, and I will do it at the best that I can do, and it's all about our residents, our people here. Just like the United States looks like it's for a downfall because we got some things that doesn't make sense at all. So we got to get some clear understanding and put things in place. And one of the things I've been saying for years, that we need a finance director here. What does the finance director do? He manages what comes in and what goes out. And if we don't have that in place, I guarantee you we're going to make national news, Little Benton Harbor. So those that can get a prayer through, let's pray about it and ask God to give us wisdom and understanding how to get through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kennard. I'd like to recognize Second Ward Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. I would like to thank everyone for coming out. Today was a really good meeting. We got some very valuable information regarding zoning and most importantly, the financial planning piece that Ms. Barbara Sistrunk, I think, gave us. People talked about gentrification, and I feel like one of the easiest ways to prevent that is through home ownership. And that's definitely what we need more of in the city of Benton Harbor. So by going to this event, people can, she said, clean up your credit, financial planning, figuring out different ways to have a down payment if needed. So this is very, very crucial and vital information for the residents so we can have more homeowners in the city of Benton Harbor. So I think this is wonderful, and I hope everyone who needs this information can take advantage of it. And then also, Commissioner Yarborough, definitely valuable information. If anyone's having issues with their taxes, this is the time to show up and help get things back in order, payment plans or whatever your specific need is. I don't really have many updates for the Second Ward other than what I said at the last meeting. We will do a spring cleanup. That'll be later in the year, probably I'm thinking April, May, when the weather is a little warmer. Everyone have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Warren. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank the Jillians for being here. I think it's the first meeting in a while. Good to see you. They take care of that cemetery. Thank you, Ms. Sistrunk, for that information. They're going to be real beneficial for the people that want to have homes, generational wealth, and just have a house. You know, it's important. Thank you for the information. I know you're going to leave the information with the clerk. Make sure we get that. And I'm going to tell some people. I got some people, family members, that want their own home, still living in Napier Manor and things like that. So thank you. And thank you, Commissioner President Yarborough. That's Black history. Just be looking at Black history right here. You know, we got a name on the library. You know, this is Black History Month. You know, I remember I always talk about this. He was my great uncle, I think, Clarence Washington. He had a taxi cab First black taxi cab. He painted his cab green. He's come over to the house. I was a little, about as tall as I am now, I guess, but he was. Wait a minute. What? Can I point of order? But anyway, Black history is real in Ben Harbor. You know, Commissioner, you remember him? You remember my uncle, great?
He lived
Right
there.
there. Yeah, right there. Right there. And I used to go up see him sometime, but he was bringing my dad a coon. I don't, you know, I used to see this thing. I wish I could show it. Can you put it on the? But it was, but that's what they ate. He must make good coon. I don't know what you call it, but Black history. We talking about Black history, but I want to thank you, Chairman Reed, for getting some clarity on that, because that Fair Avenue going to be awesome. You know, turning the two-way. I remember you can go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. You can go to Rosie's. You can walk to the get you a beer or something if you want to, and walk on down. It's gonna be, watch. Give it some years to come. You're gonna have business lined up on Fair Street once they do that two-way reconstruction. So things are happening in Ben Harbor. You know, I expect great things to happen in Benton Harbor, and they're happening. Thank you, Miss Booker, for being here. She making things. She's built homes and rehabbed homes, and I always tell her that. Thank you for what you done and staying in the game too. I know she got another project coming. I know she do. But we got a lot of things going on, and let's expect great things in Ben Harbor. Happy Black History Month. Let's do it. Go Pistons.
They are in first place. I do recognize that fact. I want to recognize Mayor Pro Tem Turner.
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to give an update from our Public Safety and Public Works Committee. We met on February 11th, and we discussed our body cam, and I thank for our Deputy Director, Mike Clark, who did a good job presentation, even though he got sick, so I'm glad he feel better. We updated our police department dispatch center, where our officers can know where they're located at all times. We also talked about a collaboration of 5 departments to help us save money on all cities. So that's a good thing for our fire departments. We also is updating our ordinances regarding our snow emergency routes, which I'm very big on. Also our winter operations plans and our liability insurance, which was kicked down the road 3 years. So I'm glad to see that we're finally moving forward with these discussions to help our city move forward and addressing these concerns. I do echo Fourth Ward Commissioner about Juneteenth. I look forward to seeing everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you. Chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, all of the wonderful information. Thank you, Ms. Sistrunk, Commissioner Yarbrough for the information, and Chairman Reed for clarifying and just helping to give vision to the future of Benton Harbor, because I believe it's easy to say what we can't do or what the city of Benton Harbor can't be, but I think we all should be encouraging people to see the possibilities of what can be and what they actually can do, because as you stated, Benton Harbor is full of talent, full of people who can and have done many things, and so I think we need to continue to encourage the future of what our great city will be. And with that being said, on Thursday, March 5th, I'll be doing a town hall at the Boys and Girls Club as well. And so I encourage everyone to come out. It'll be from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So come out, bring your opinions, questions. We'll be giving some updates and handing out other information relevant to people who live in my ward. So thank you all and have a great evening.
Thank you. Just like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Oh, my goodness gracious. I want to recognize Commissioner Fields.
So, I don't even know what to say about that. But so much has transpired at this meeting too. I'm appreciative for those that are here. Of course, I will be at Show show me the money. She didn't talk about like the prizes. What is it, $100? It is cash. It's nice prizes. And the engagement and the energy, though, really is really good there. It's a variety of individuals. So we talk about faceted housing, and this is a space where it brings everyone together too. So some people that don't have a house, some young individuals that want to learn about finances and things like that come in, families come. So it has been going on for several years now that I'm even aware of. And so I think that's great. Again, thank you, Commissioner, President, Mamie Yarbrough, for all that you do and your report. I really appreciate, being a previous library board member as well, appreciate all the things that the library is connected to and allows to happen there. And so I do know too that we are having a Black History Month program there on the 28th, the last Saturday of Black History Month. And it's too detailed because you guys know the facilitator is very wordy. So it's a lot of things happening, though. It'll be diverse all around in regards to Black history. So there's Muslims involved, there's Christian, there's different faith of that sort to be present and just represent the community as a whole. So it's great coming together, even just as Black community. It's diversity in all facets. And considering this is also Love Month, which I don't necessarily do pagan holidays, but we know our first love was from God. And love should be the focus and the push and the drive behind all of us. That's why we should be able to get along and we should be able to figure things out, but we should be able to ask questions, have accountability, and have our passions, right? And along those lines, I actually had my second wellness watch party planned for the 5th. But in the sense of unity, I'll reschedule mine so that I can attend the town hall. I'm purposely not going to be using the term town hall necessarily for things because it's kind of overused. But I want to attend and be supportive, and I just don't want us all having our events titled the same thing. But so in the sense of love and unity, I want to say I feel like this was a productive meeting. And I appreciate the openness of answering questions and everybody being engaged and a part of that. And I personally appreciate Commissioner Clark Griffin having questions because I don't know about anyone else. It gets me to thinking about a vantage point that I may not have, or just about the vantage point that a resident may have, and for clarity. And we have to consider that residents that are watching or that ask us things may not know what we read. And so, we can do better about and being inclusive and being more detailed in conversation and like we are about different things. I know we do stress a lot or bring up what happened with the previous city emergency manager. And, a lot of things we are very detailed about. These things may seem basic, but nothing is basic to a resident that we're trying to reconnect with. So again, thanks you all for coming out. And also, Commission, I have 15 seconds, Mayor. I see you trying to wrap me up. So I'm the chair of the Communications Committee. I canceled last month because I thought the weather was going to be worse than it was, but it wasn't. But the Communications Committee meeting is the 4th Monday, and so it will be Monday the 23rd. And so I invite everyone to come out. We're going to talk about what communication includes, what current communication we have in place, how to expand on that. Thank you.
Thank you, and it was truly an oversight. And I thank Commissioner Henderson for correcting me. As you all know, I'm extremely flawed. So thank you. Last Wednesday, I did travel to Lansing to the Black History Celebration at the governor's residence, and I had an opportunity to be an official recognized guest in the Michigan State Chambers Gallery by 38th District Representative Joy Andrews, and I also met with the Michigan Legislative Black Caucus members headed by Chairman Amos O'Neill. We're in the process of formulating a urban agenda for 16 cities headed by black mayors, and you have also 16 legislators, 3 in the state senate, 13 in the state house. So I'll give a further update on that. I will be attending the State of the State as a guest of Governor Whitmer to learn more about the budget and the future of the state of Michigan under her leadership, which is 1 year left, and I plan to work very closely with her administration so we can get as much as possible as she is outgoing. And I do know that housing is a major component to her agenda as she exits. So as we all talked about tonight, Benton Harbor is in dire need of improving our housing stock, and that's on every level. We did lose, I also plan to inform our state representative to provide state constitutions for all city commissioners. We are under the federal constitution, state constitution, and city charter. So I did get mine, but I will make sure that he sends the same booklet to each city commissioner as well. So you have it, and we're all operating from the same information. We did lose a great giant in Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson today, and his presence in Benton Harbor, dating back, some say, to the 60s, where he would visit Pilgrim Rest with Reverend Ellis, Progressive, pardon me, as well. I worked with him doing Public Act 4 with others when he came in to fight for Benton Harbor residents' voting rights. And he did say, he said, at the time I was the Mayor Pro Tem, Shaquille, and he said, that's Mayor Pro Tem Turner, and he said, you focus too much on the emergency manager. He said, I don't even want to hear his name again. He said, because he's just a mailman, and he's bringing the mail from Lansing. So we need to not be distracted on the EM. We need to be focused on what's coming out of Lansing. So that was one of the reasons why I've said, you know what, we need to start engaging Lansing from that point. So I'd just like to have a quick moment of silence for the great work that Reverend Jackson did in Benton Harbor and internationally. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion is made by Commissioner Fields,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Turner,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.